Hi guys, Frank and Dan here. We just wanted to make sure that we got to you before that other Frank and Dan start their show to talk to you a little bit about a way that you can help us.
Yeah, this is Joyride, Frank and Dan.
Yeah, that's right. Not those TGIA guys.
No, screw them.
We're way smarter than they are, but they're more needy than we are, and so they need your help.
Absolutely.
So we're hoping that you can go to our webpage, thankgodimatheist.com.
And look for the Joyride banner, which is over on the right-hand side of the page.
Right.
Click on it.
It's just a way to chip in a monthly donation in any denomination that you would like.
We're looking to, or I'm sorry, Frank and Dan at TGIA are looking to improve the podcast.
Yes.
They're trying to get new microphones and get a producer to
do
help
all
out
sorts of
with
things.
Blah, blah, blah.
You don't want to know the ins and outs. All you want is a better show, and the way to get it is to go there and contribute.
And if you help out, they've got some rewards for you. You can get a godless ringtone for $3 a month.
Yeah.
You can get immortality. They'll say your name on the show for $5 a month.
Those us's on the other show?
Those other guys. And they'll also do a hangout with you for $15 a month.
Yeah, you can actually sort of meet us over the intertubes. We'll have a chat with
Google Hangouty thing.
All of them.
Them.
Those
them.
Oh,
Dan. Not us. Them.
Anyway,
them.
Hey, enjoy the show that's coming up, you guys, and thanks.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And coming up today, we're going to go clear.
We're clearing some shit up.
We're going clear.
Yeah.
We're hooking up ourselves to some e-meters. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
And we're gonna
audit
audit
each other.
And then we're gonna go clear.
We're gonna take the thetans out.
Get rid of those nasty thetans.
You don't want them. You don't want them. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Scientology later.
Yeah.
And
the new Scientology is it anti-Scientology?
It is merely
it's a film about
it is merely an expose of Scientology.
Yeah.
Scientology is its own anti-Scientology once you learn about it. As is the case with so many religions, really.
God. It just should be obvious.
They're cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Anyway.
But that's coming up later in the show.
Much later.
Ooh, that sounded...
Was that you?
What? Oh, the little... What?
Nothing.
The much later thing is what I was going on.
Oh, okay.
It sounded ominous, like we're going to take 12 hours.
All right.
Do you want to go? Tell us a story.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is actually fascinating. This is there is a new in vitro technique being developed in the UK at the moment that would give the baby DNA of 3 parents.
What? Does this mean that like the DNA strand, the double helix is now a triple helix?
Something like that. It actually made me think of the movie Twins, the Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle from and clearly it was written for them. There was no way for that film to work on any level without a giant the enormity of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the scrappy tininess,
little babiness of one
DeVito.
Mr. DeVito.
No, this is actually it's fascinating. It's there's a genetic disease that I forget what it was called that it causes the death of thousands of babies every year. It's a mitochondrial disorder.
Okay.
And as you know, so it sounds when you say the DNA of 3 parents, it sounds like you're splicing in sort of like more DNA into the double helix, right?
Yeah.
Mitochondria have their own DNA.
Yes.
And sort of
called mitochondrial DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Or chondrial. Mitochondrial DNA.
Yeah, indeed. And it comes down through the mother's line. You inherit your mother's mitochondria, whatever.
Oh, thank God, because my mom had the best mitochondria.
Well, anyway, if you've got shitty mitochondrial DNA, then guess what? You're going to die.
You're screwed.
Yeah. And so what they've been able to do is they've been able to splice in new mitochondrial DNA to help these women be able to have healthy births. Just because they've got, for whatever reason, shitty mitochondrial DNA. Well, anyway, this doesn't seem like it should be that controversial of a thing.
Oh, it does. It seems very much like that's what it's going to be.
What do you think the problem with this would be, Dan?
You're messing with the Lord's work.
Yeah.
If God wanted you to have good mitochondrial DNA, he would have given it to your mother.
Yeah, but there's all sorts of stuff that that religious types are willing to go along with when it means healthy babies.
Yeah.
Right. But this one, it's causing a little bit of an uproar. Anyway, the members of Parliament they voted on February 3rd to allow this.
Oh, good.
So
I thought you were going to go the other way for a minute, and I was literally just like my butthole was tightening in preparation.
Yeah. But church figures, clearly not necessarily the Church of England, but more your sort of Catholic churches.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing some evangelical churches, they get those a little bit in the UK.
Yeah. Actually, no. I guess the Anglican Church has they said that it. Let's see, who's this guy? Reverend Brendan McCarthy. He's Church of England advisor on medical ethics. Said we need to be absolutely clear that the techniques that will be used will be safe, and we need to be absolutely sure that they will work. That doesn't sound like that's not denouncing it. Where was the one? Anyways, the Catholics are they think it's horrid.
Yeah. Well,
because and it's not even like you're messing with the DNA that you're supposed to have. They're like it's more along the lines of your like the DNA, the good DNA has to come from somewhere. Right? Like it's this whole stem cell thing.
Yeah.
Where and this is the part that I'm not sure if they're actually right about. But you've got to kill a mitochondria.
What?
I don't know if that's what it is.
None of this is making any sense. It's almost.
I don't know how there could. But see, here's the thing. I can't even wrap my head around what the opposition to this would be. Right? Like it just seems such like a clear-cut case of like, hey,
making babies
you're making
stay alive.
Healthy babies for people who want healthy babies.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't.
So anyway, and of course, it is the religious types who would be blocking it or trying to block it.
Right. Of course it is.
It'll be interesting to see when this comes to this country. What do you think? Do you have any idea of like what evangelical types would do with something like this?
I'm guessing that they're going to be fine because they're not going to understand it, and that's going to make them not want to like have to think too hard about it.
Well, that's the golden opportunity to come up with some stupid argument against it.
Well, that's true. If there's an opportunist pastor who sees that opportunity and seizes upon it, then we may have an issue. But it does occur to me that for the most part, everybody will just see this as. I mean, it's so no like embryos are being created to
apparently
to kill.
Actually, it does. The process does involve the destruction of embryos.
Oh, good. Then we have a huge problem, and everything's everyone's gonna be furious.
I let you speak for a minute just so I could skim down to the part where I knew there was some controversy. And yes, so the Catholic bishop John Sherrington says the human embryo is a new human life. And it should be respected and protected from the moment of conception. This is a very serious step with Parliament, which Parliament should not rush into taking. So
it's very serious.
Yeah,
it's all very serious. Well, there you go. We'll keep you folks up to date on mitochondrial DNA gate as it unfolds.
Third parent gate. This is how it will be billed. Also, and that's how it makes it sound really scary.
Third parent. Yeah, that's terrifying.
There will be a third person. This is unnatural.
Well, it's definitely unnatural. All medical intervention is unnatural.
Right, but that's all it takes.
Yeah, right.
This is a crime against nature.
Right.
Against God.
Well, you know who might have some good things to say about this? This meets segueing beautifully, by the way, into my next story.
All right.
Is one Mr. Val Kilmer. Do you remember?
Celebrity spokesperson for Three Parents?
For three.
Was he on My Two Dads?
He was both dads, actually. My two dads who are really one dad with multiple personalities.
Right.
No, he would be on the other side of this argument, it appears. Apparently, and I did not know this, he is a Christian Scientist.
No way.
Yeah. Which, lest anyone be confused, if you're not familiar with this religion, science isn't really the issue.
It's the Christian part.
They're not
They focus more on Christian than science.
Yeah. The whole Christian Science thing, they're saying that Christianity is science, or Christianity is in place of science.
Oh.
They're anti-science. They are not pleased with the concept of science. So, apparently, there are rumors. Well, they're not rumors. So recently, Mr. Kilmer was admitted to the ICU of the UCLA hospital.
But wait. Can he do that?
Well,
as a Christian Scientist?
Sort of. Not. Yeah, maybe. Here's the deal.
Okay.
His family is apparently reportedly very worried because he's got, it looks like a growth or tumor on his neck, which he has not been treating.
Oh, dear God.
Now he has.
Is this why we haven't seen him in any films?
No, that's because he got fat.
Oh.
But the rest of it is.
I was like, they could just CGI it out.
Yeah, exactly. No, what has he been in? He was in, what was that one that he was in it was an indie film 4 or 5 years ago that he was in that was quite good.
Did he have like a turtleneck on the whole time?
Maybe. Very possibly. Anyway, apparently, so he tweeted trying to downplay what's going on, but apparently, according to no other reliable source than TMZ.
Oh, they are good.
Apparently, he has been shunning medical treatment for this tumor.
Why?
Because Jesus. That's why.
Oh my God.
Because this is apparently our show where we talk about celebrities who aren't making good choices.
More on that later. Okay.
So there you go.
Wow.
It's
somebody who presumably would have the means.
Yeah.
To kick whatever, to pay whatever doctor.
Yeah.
Needs to be paid, right? To get the thing on his neck removed.
Right.
And he won't do it.
No. Like I said, he did go into the hospital recently. So maybe when push comes to really, really shove, he kind of goes, and freaks out and goes in.
Jesus ain't working. So
right, exactly. When
the
Jesus stops working, it's time to call in the real doctors. It's so funny. You and I always say whenever we report on, things like the Canadian girl who died because her parents didn't want to treat her cancer or whatever.
Well, that was her.
Well, but her parents are the ones that were important.
Yeah.
And we always say, you know what? If you're an adult, you can fuck with your own life if you want to.
Oh, absolutely.
So I guess we've already come out in support of Val Kilmer's right to kill his damn self by not treating his cancer.
Oh no, he gets to. I think he's stupid.
Right, of course,
for letting that happen.
Valentine.
We don't know what it is, so we don't know how treatable
right
it is.
No.
but it seems easily accessible if it's just on his neck.
Well, yeah.
If it hasn't like gotten all of its little ganglia or whatever intertwined around important things, because there are important things in the neck.
There are important things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, so there you go. It was he apparently his publicist was saying that it's a possible tumor. He was doing tests
because they don't know.
Because
nobody's bothered.
Because he
won't
get him
go into a doctor.
You know what it is?
I think goiter.
I think people join.
Just need some iodine.
Some of these. I think some of the people who join like Christian Scientists, they do it just because they're afraid of going to the doctor. That way they have an excuse. Nobody bugs them.
Excuse me, I'd like to... Is there something called the Christian dentists?
Yeah, exactly. I'm
leaving my teeth to Jesus.
I'm very afraid
like
of needles. I really am afraid of needles. I'm joining Christian Scientists. You guys don't believe in those, right? Okay, good.
Do they... Actually, that raises an interesting question in my mind. Do they go to the dentist? Do they allow their teeth to be worked on?
I don't know. I would think that they could be cleaned, and that would still be okay.
Maybe no cavity treatments.
Right. No drilling.
No drilling. Because that does seem like an intervention of some sort.
It does, kind of. Jesus, drill my tooth.
So you can have eyeglasses, but you can't get LASIK.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Or is it only when you're sick?
I don't know.
Like, could you have plastic surgery just because you're improving yourself?
That seems fine.
Yeah. You're not curing anything. You're just using medicine to... give yourself a nicer nose.
Okay, I'm going to call this a Val Kilmer loophole. He's going to go in for a neck lift. Oh, and take that ugly bump out while you're in there. I don't like how my skin is sagging here. And if you could just remove this thing while you're in there, that would be great.
It's unsightly.
It's unsightly.
Really unsightly.
I don't care about the health thing.
Yeah.
Jesus will take care of that.
Right.
But if you could just remove it... That'd be great.
I just need an oncological plastic surgeon, please.
In walks Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. Hi, everybody.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right.
I didn't want to have to talk about the nonsense in Syria. Today.
You mean like by nonsense, you're not referring to like parking issues?
No, I'm talking about burning alive of infidels.
Yeah.
Chucking accused homosexuals off of 7-story buildings and then stoning them to death when they somehow survived the fall.
Yeah.
That nonsense.
I'm uncomfortable with those practices personally.
Yeah, it's unsettling.
I don't mean to be controversial, but I feel like they shouldn't do that. Is my own personal feeling.
Yeah, to say the least. Well, like I said, I didn't want to really talk about those, but in light of those events, I did want to share the story of one Mr. Mohamed Ahmed.
Mohamed Ahmed?
Mohamed Ahmed. Who lives in Minneapolis and works as a gas station manager.
Okay.
And he spends his nights and weekends as a anti-terror propagandist on the web.
Okay. I'm fine with anti-terror propaganda.
Yeah. And he is he's been frustrated, I guess you could say, by the social media campaign of groups like the Islamic State.
Yeah.
That apparently are quite slick. I haven't looked at them, but this article is calling them slick, so I'll run with that.
Sure.
And these campaigns are actually have succeeded in getting a number of young Muslim Americans to go to fight in Iraq and Syria.
Yeah. We've reported on such things.
And Ahmed has poured thousands of his own dollars over the last 6 months into producing a series of animated cartoons to rebut the extremists' arguments and messaging.
Okay.
And he calls his character, he's the bearded and gap-toothed character, Average Mohamed is the guy's name.
Oh.
And he...
I'm assuming not the Prophet Muhammad.
No.
Just an average dude named Mohammed.
Yeah, because it's like the most common name in Islamic places.
Right.
You know, amongst practitioners of Islam, Muhammad's the most common male name.
Here's what I just realized. If I had a friend named Mohammed, which I don't, but if I did, I think every time I referred to him, I would say peace be upon him. I would just have to.
I think that in and of itself might cause some problems.
My buddy Mohammed over there, peace be upon him. He's buying us some ice cream, so that's nice.
I think you might cause some issues.
Hey, Mohammed, peace be upon you, buddy. Thank you. Chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I thought this was we've kind of called out Islam and Muslims in general, saying, where are the moderates? Where are the people denouncing the violence?
Yeah.
And I couldn't see this story without sharing it, because it is the story of at least one person who is doing his dang hardest. In fact, he's waiting for his tax refund to continue the next leg of his efforts.
There you go.
So, I mean, this guy...
Did you watch any of the cartoons? Are they any good?
I didn't. I saw a still from one. It looks fairly well produced. The still looks... The drawings are as good as anything you'd see anywhere else.
I like the idea of, like, we're saying, hey, where are all the moderates? And meanwhile, they're in their animation studios. That's where they are. We found them.
Or at the gas station. Or, you know, more broadly, at their job, being good members of society.
Just being people.
Yeah. So, you know, there's that. And I think it is clearly very easy to get angry.
Yeah.
And call out. But, you know, there's this, and there should be more.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great thing.
Sure.
He's doing. So.
All right, great. I'm going to tell the story of a young man named Trevor McKendrick, an entrepreneurial fellow, apparently, former Mormon.
Oh, okay.
Not unlike us, former Mormon, now atheist.
Oh,
he's one of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It tends to do that, doesn't it? Mormonism?
Well, yeah.
You're either going to be a strict adherent or
you're
just going to fucking leave it all behind.
Yeah, most Mormons don't, like, seek out a different version of Christianity or whatever.
Don't become Baptists
or
Catholics.
No.
Anyway. When you've had the best, it's hard to...
That's right. The best that religion has to offer. Mormonism.
That's definitely not the case.
It'd be fun for us to go around to all of the different religions and just be like, do you have any underwear requirements? Oh, you don't? Oh, that's nice. Okay. Anyway, this guy, the reason I'm bringing him up is that McKendrick is he built an app.
Okay.
He had a cousin who
This is where our roads diverge.
Yes. Yeah. Well, also, you'll find out later that our roads really diverge. He had a cousin that built apps and was making a good living on it.
Oh, okay.
Or a relative or something. And so he thought, well, hey, I'd like to make a good living. Okay. So he built an app. And he's very clever about it. He just went out there and saw, like, what are the top selling apps and what ones are doing well, but could be improved upon.
Oh, okay. Smart.
Went out and built himself a Bible app.
Oh,
which did okay. Okay. But then he did an audio Bible app, and suddenly, and it's Spanish, by the way, Spanish Bible app.
Oh, wow.
And suddenly the money just started rolling in.
Shut up.
So he is making 6 figures. Another way in which he has diverged from us, Frank. Every year, he's making hundreds of, $100,000 a year selling the Bible
in Spanish,
in Espanol.
So it's like an audiobook.
Yeah,
is it?
Sort of. It is? I guess so. I don't know. It's an audio app. It's an app.
Okay.
Well, anyway, he so apparently
don't you normally get the author to read the book? Isn't that kind of the direction you go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, contrary to popular misconceptions, Jesus actually has a terrible voice. His speaking voice is awful.
Oh, it's lispy.
Super nasally. He's really gay sounding, like super queer. Yeah. So, it's just...
Blessed are
the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the earth.
It's unlistenable. You can't. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
And he has a little whistle.
And behold, he said unto his disciples,
Anyway, so it's funny because this McKendrick fellow, apparently he feels that he feels a little guilty. He says, because he's
making so much money off of spreading the good word.
Apparently people are writing to him and like he's getting emails asking them to pray for him or like to interpret the Bible for him.
That's pretty genius though.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I would have no problem with this at all.
Yeah.
Of course, he says his quote is, what if you sold Harry Potter books or Lord of the Ring books, but you told people it was real? And you told people if they would just learn how to write spells for themselves, they could heal their children. I don't know that that's what he's doing. Maybe it is what he's doing. But, I mean, if you're just selling the Bible...
already out there.
Yeah.
It's not like he wrote the damn thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He just got some Spanish speakers to record some stuff, and
it's brilliant.
There you go.
It's public domain.
Yeah.
There's nothing nothing anybody can say about it. I mean...
That is the genius of it.
Yeah.
You got to base the whole thing on something that's not copywritten.
Yeah. I'm going to do that now. Only I'm going to do it. I'm going to make... You want to know how I'm going to make my fortune?
Wow.
Chaucer. He got the Bible. He's got the Bible covered. But I'm going to do Chaucer.
It's making a resurgence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's into Canterbury Tales. It's like at the top of the list. You got your 50 Shades of Grey. Mm-hmm. You got your The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
And Canterbury Tales.
Well, and that Middle Englishy shit.
They love it.
It's beautiful.
Everybody, it's unreadable, but it's so great. So that's how I'm going to make my fortune. That's copyrighted, people. Don't go stealing that idea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I have the story of something that's also making a resurgence.
Oh?
Yeah. Iceland, beautiful Iceland.
I love Iceland.
You've been to Iceland.
It's beautiful.
Well, Icelanders,
yes,
are they're descendants of something Nordic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're former Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. And as such, there's a bunch of Norse gods they've been ignoring.
Oh.
Just flat out ignoring.
Neglecting their
Thor,
their Norse...
Odin.
Yeah, sure.
Frigg.
Frigg. You don't want to forget Frigg.
Frigg's my favorite, to be honest. Oh, Frigg.
Is he the one that keeps everything cold?
I don't know. The refrigerator.
Friggerator.
That's so dumb. But it makes a lot of sense. It explains why the North is so cold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is what I'm saying.
But anyway, there will soon be a new shrine.
Oh,
built to Thor, Odin, and Frigg. The construction is starting this month, and it's the island's first major temple to the Norse gods since the Viking Age.
Well, thank goodness.
Unfortunately, Christianity about 1,000 years ago came, marching through.
God,
and they totally forgot about their Nordic gods. These poor neglected Nordic gods.
The first parliament in the world was in Iceland.
'Tis true.
It was Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the place where it happened. It's actually it's a really cool place. It's where the tectonic plates of Europe and of North America meet, and you can actually stand sort of right in the middle. They've pushed up, so there's rock cliff faces on either side of you, and you're just standing in that confluence.
Yeah.
They have a deep history with that kind of thinking,
confluences,
that Nordic.
Yes, but of course, nobody really believes it.
No.
Nobody's actually they don't think that Thor, Odin, and Frigg are actually there.
I don't know. Here's the thing about the Icelandic people, and I don't know a lot about them. But are you going? All right, go ahead.
I'm going somewhere.
Go ahead.
According to Hilmar Orn Hilmarsson.
Yes.
He's the high priest of something completely unpronounceable.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I don't believe anyone believes in a one-eyed man who is riding about on a horse with 8 feet.
That would be stupid.
We see the stories as poetic metaphors and a manifestation of the forces of nature and human psychology. Apparently, membership has tripled in the last decade. And they claim about 2,400 members.
Oh, good.
And considering Iceland is only like 300,000 people, that's
a decent
that's not
jump.
a bad showing, So
yeah, well, these are people who have again. I think that sort of, I want to say folklore is much more is very alive with the Icelandic people. They have these trolls, these they call them the hidden people. In Icelandic it's like or something like that.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
But they actually I don't know that they believe in it, but I'm just going to say that like they're like big rocks that the hidden folk live in.
Yeah.
That they've bent roads around rather than destroying and ruining the chance that you disturb the hidden folk.
Could it just be that it's also a beautiful rock formation and they have a respect for the nature that surrounds them?
Nope.
Well, I wonder though, like, if an outsider who had absolutely no concept of like, the what a lot of us practice in this country and a few others as well, with things like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and whatnot, like would somebody who has as limited of knowledge that we have of Icelandic culture and thought
right,
look at it and go, well, I don't know if they really believe in the Easter Bunny, but I don't know how they could, but boy, they sure do spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah,
and they build these effigies out of chocolate in mass numbers. They attribute so much power to it and time and energy to this. Like, they must believe something, right? Like
this. You know what? This puts me in.
You hear my point?
Yes, I do hear your point, and it's valid, and it's made me realize that there's another entrepreneurial opportunity waiting for us, Frank.
What is that?
What we do is we sell to the Christians. This is gonna be my other way to sell to the Christians and make my fortune.
Are you sure you want to share it?
Yeah,
in such a public forum.
I trust our listeners. They're not going to steal from me. They might make it happen.
Okay.
You know how everybody talks about like Jesus is the reason for the season at Christmas time, and they try and steer you away from all of that pagan Santa stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Chocolate Jesus on the cross, or chocolate Jesus for
I bet it exists
for Easter.
I bet it already exists.
Oh no,
okay. Yeah.
I'm making it. I'm gonna do this, so that you're not celebrating some pagan bunny.
Right.
This isn't bunny time. This is
what you described might be hard, but you could at least do a chocolate cross. That's easy.
No.
Crosses are easy.
Nope, it's crucifix.
You
all
want
the way.
the full Jesus.
I want to eat Jesus from the feet up. I want.
It should be filled with some sort of like cherry syrup filling, though. So like when you bite into it, it just bleeds all over the place.
Except that if it's going to be filled with cherry syrup filling, I want to make holes in like the hands and the side so that when you bite into it, it starts like oozing out of his
like
hands.
Thin areas.
Right.
So that, like when you create pressure elsewhere, it just bursts through.
Yeah, exactly.
And the stigmata.
That's exactly what we're doing. Matter of fact, if you out there are
a chocolatier,
a confectioner of some sort, steal my idea, and then make it for me, I will be the happiest man alive. I'm not even going to charge you for that idea. You can go ahead and steal it. Just send me a picture.
As long as we get to see it.
Well, yeah, you know what? Don't just send me a picture. Send me one.
Yeah.
I need to eat this thing.
All right, well, 2, Dan.
Okay, I'll share with Frank. Send him one as well. Well, I got a story that there was a story that we missed, and the thing is that I was sort of aware of it a few months ago, but I really didn't. I don't know. We just didn't get to it or whatever. But it's a good story. It's in Georgetown, Washington D.C. area. There was a rabbi of a what do you call it? A
synagogue?
Yeah, it was congregation was what I was looking for. But yes, he was a rabbi of a synagogue.
Okay.
And he got in trouble. He got in some hot water when it was discovered that he had put a hidden camera in the room where the women would do their ritual bathing before they would come into synagogue.
Was he trying to make sure that they were doing it right?
Well, that's what he claimed.
Quality control?
Yes. According to him, he was absolutely just doing that.
He didn't really say that. I mean, I guess it's the obvious defense.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, what are you going to say? I'm a pervert. What can I do? I like women. I think that's sexy when they're naked.
Well, I guess I'm not familiar with the ritual washing that Jewish women would do at a synagogue. Like, what is it actually?
There is a thing, and I think it's mostly just like Orthodox. Like when you get really Orthodox, you do a
clean more,
a ritual washing, and it is apparently you get naked and you go into this bath.
What?
Yeah. So they provide this bath that you take, the ritual bath.
Okay,
and you hope that the person who took the bath before you wasn't too gross. Anyway, so he got into trouble. Well, there's some new news about Rabbi, what's his name? Barry Freundel. Who was rabbi for 25 years. He was fired from his job as rabbi of that synagogue. And asked to leave the housing that they had provided for him. Well, he won't. He is now rabbi squatter who will not leave the housing at the synagogue.
Oh, he didn't change his last name to squatter. Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
I'm sorry. I was reading about ritual baths, and I had to look up and process what I had just heard.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. He's hanging out.
He is. He's not going. There was a letter that went out from the president of the board, who has said, we were informed in late December that Rabbi Freundel did not have plans to leave the house. So we began informal conversations to resolve this issue with Rabbi Freundel and his attorney, but to no avail. You see, he seems to be comfortable. Now, if it were me and I had been caught perverting up the place,
you'd get the hell out.
I'd probably want to leave,
but in the middle of the night.
No.
With shame.
He is digging in.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I guess maybe if you're shameless enough to do the deed, maybe you don't have any shame.
Well, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, and if you come back with, I was making sure they were doing it right, which, is preposterous.
Right.
So here are some ways that a ritual bath would be used these days.
Okay.
And by women, it would be to achieve ritual purity after menstruation.
Oh, yeah, because that's gross.
Or after childbirth.
Oh.
It's also part of a traditional procedure during conversion to Judaism. And apparently also you need to immerse newly acquired utensils used in serving and eating food. But I doubt that's what he was watching.
No.
Although maybe that was the one he was watching.
Yeah, he's like, I
never looked when they...
I'm into forks and knives. What do you want? It's what I like. Don't judge.
Yeah. So, anyways, a mikvah is what that's how you say it.
Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah. I guess I was conflating it with the Muslim thing of like the men having to wash themselves ritually before they go into their
men and
mosque.
women. Yeah.
I don't know. I only saw the men. I've only seen the men do it.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I mean, they don't take off their clothes to do it. They wash their hands and feet and whatever. But apparently, this guy was getting a free peep show with all the hot Jewish congregants. I'm guessing a lot of them were like old and whatever. I don't know.
Hey, to each his own. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
That might be what he likes.
It's what he's into. I shouldn't judge that. That's fine. What I should judge though is him like peeping.
The peeping part is a problem.
Yeah, that's not good. Peeping. Yeah. Anyway,
he's a peeping Tom,
but now he's a squatting Tom. Now he is officially just sitting. He's possession is 9/10 of the law, Frank.
Yeah.
So
peeping.
He's got squatters'
peeping
rights.
Is a fun word.
Well, if you guys have anything to say about peeping or squatting, which all now sounds very toilet related, please write into us. You can reach us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Or if you're very, very lucky and you can find it, it's
hard to find.
We might let you into the TGIA Members Only Lounge.
Yeah, search for that on Facebook.
Yep.
And maybe you'll get let in.
Maybe.
If you request to.
If I can see anything on your damn profile, people keep showing up and their profile's locked down tight. I've had a couple people who I can't even message to say, hey, just let me know that you belong here.
So what have you done in those cases? Not let them in?
I stonewall them. I just don't. Yeah, one I didn't let in, and then I don't know what to do.
If you know that your security settings are so locked down, maybe you send Dan a message.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Is it so hard?
Or send the group a message, right? Can you do that?
You can send me. I'm listed as one of the.
Oh, so they could.
So they could probably message me. Yeah. Here's the other thing, guys. If you ask to be let in, and you find that you haven't been let in, or like you find that you've been rejected, try again. I may not have been able to see anything and not have been able to contact you, or I may have. I mean, I do a lot of this on my phone, and if my finger just happens to touch slightly the wrong part of the screen, you might be rejected, and it's not because there was anything wrong with you. So if you're a legitimate person and you get rejected, just try again, and I'll let you in.
Dan's lack of finesse with his big
my
fat thumbs.
Big dumb fingers not work on the phone. I can't make it work.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. This is a clip that got some traction this week.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. This is actor Stephen Fry,
renowned
British
actor Stephen Fry, who's also a staunch atheist.
Yes.
Suppose what Oscar believed in as he died, in spite of your protestations, suppose it's all true, and you walk up to the pearly gates and you are confronted by God. What will Stephen Fry say to him, her, or it?
I will basically, what's known as theodicy, I think. I'll say bone cancer in children? What's that about? How dare you? How dare you create a world in which there is such misery that is not our fault? It's not right. It's utterly, utterly evil. Why should I respect a capricious, mean-minded, stupid God who creates a world which is so full of injustice and pain? That's what I would say.
And you think you're going to get in on that?
But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to get in on his terms. They're wrong. Now, if I died and it was Pluto, Hades, and if it was the 12 Greek gods, then I would have more truck with it, because the Greeks they didn't pretend not to be human in their appetites and in their capriciousness and in their unreasonableness. They didn't present themselves as being all-seeing, all-wise, all-kind, all-beneficent. Because the God who created this universe, if it was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac. Utter maniac. Totally selfish. We have to spend our life on our knees thanking him? What kind of God would do that? Yes, the world is very splendid, but it also has in it insects whose whole life cycle is to burrow into the eyes of children and make them blind. They eat outwards from the eyes. Why? Why did you do that to us? You could easily have made a creation in which that didn't exist. It is simply not acceptable. So, atheism is not just about not believing there's a God, but on the assumption that there is one. What kind of God is he? It's perfectly apparent that he is monstrous, utterly monstrous, and deserves no respect whatsoever. The moment you banish him, your life becomes simpler, purer, cleaner, more worth living, in my opinion.
That sure is the longest answer to that question that I ever got in this entire series.
Okay, well, they're saying it, and they're saying it.
If these British people just learn to stop beating around the bush and just come out with what they want to say, I think they'd be in better shape.
Yeah.
I love it. What you guys need to do is look this up. If you haven't seen it, if somehow it didn't cross your path, you need to watch the video.
No kidding.
Because the guy that's interviewing him is a guy named Byrne. What's his name? His name is something Byrne. Anyway, Gay. His name is Gay Byrne.
Oh, that sounds like something else.
Which it's
entirely.
It seems like that's actually what Fry did, was a gay burn. Burn! Anyway.
No, the look on his face is priceless.
Oh, my God. He's panicking. The man is freaking out as Stephen Fry is not letting up and just going. I mean, the moment after he says, "Oh, you think that's going to get you into heaven?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to go in. Fuck you!" And this guy literally at one point, his eyes get so wide and he just leans back in his chair and he's like, "I don't know what to do." It's amazing.
I asked the question.
Yeah.
If you ask the question, you kind of have to just let the person answer.
Oh, he totally had it coming.
Yeah.
Totally had it coming.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
Correspondence.
Yeah, people have written to us. They've called to us.
Indeed.
There are all these things. So I'll start with an email.
Okay.
This is from Luca. He says, "Hi, Frank and Dan. I'm a 15-year-old male from Vancouver. I thought a Canadian perspective would be useful to understand the horrible situation." He's talking about the First Nations girl.
Oh, okay.
Who we reported on, you reported on, whose parents wouldn't give her chemo, and then she done got dead. He says, "In Canada, there's a lot of sensitivity surrounding colonization and the Aboriginal people. This sensitivity, though understandable, can sometimes be an issue. I would hear people say that forcing her to do chemotherapy would be forcing a Western point of view and ignoring her and her parents' right to their Aboriginal culture. I would also hear people saying that child protection removing her would be akin to residential schools.
Oh, my God.
My belief is that culture should take lower priority if it means saving the child's life, and it's ridiculous that giving people medicine that works is somehow forcing a Western point of view."
There are sensitivities to other people's cultures, and then there are oversensitivities to other people's cultures.
And then there's just, hey, there's science here. We actually know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
nothing to do with your culture.
You know what? It's science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's culture.
It's not,
and then there's facts.
We're not pushing our culture on you.
We're just telling you facts.
Yeah.
This is just how the universe works.
Yeah.
So
we're not making you wear our clothes and
go to our
sing
school.
our songs.
Right,
and,
exactly.
You're
not going to lose your culture. You might lose your kid though if you don't do this.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for that, Luca. So we had an anonymous, or ostensibly anonymous, an unsigned email.
Oh.
"Hey there, Frank and Dan. I was in a thread on the TGIA group discussing free will." I assume they mean the Members Only Lounge. Very exclusive group on Facebook. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's really great. Discussing free will. And it occurred to me that the legal definition of free will is to make a choice without coercion or deception. Christians often claim that the matter of belief is an issue of free will. You freely choose to believe, love God, pray, and even tithe.
Right.
You choose to believe these under the threat of torture in hell. Completely aside from the issue of whether or not Christianity is true, the practice of collecting a tithe is an act of coercion and financial abuse, especially if you belong to a denomination like Mormon or evangelical where 10% tithes are basically required.
Right.
Just wondering what you think of this. I could see someone who had given a lot could be in a situation where it would be worthwhile. Maybe the FFRF, the FFRF, might be interested in getting into something like this. I think they're referencing suing the church
in order to get your money back.
In order to get your money back.
Because you didn't have any
good fucking luck. Yeah, it would be great if you could sue and get your money back. I just certainly gave a decent sum, not a lot because I was young.
I was young, but
a decent amount. I wouldn't mind getting it back, but no.
The bulk of my money went to paying for my mission.
Oh yeah,
that's where I lost some money.
Yeah,
but I didn't really lose tons of. I mean, if you look at it in from the perspective of, living in a foreign country and learning a foreign language, I actually probably got a pretty good deal.
You were in a decent little immersion program there.
Yeah.
You had to do some pretty objectionable things.
Yeah. But I will say this: I was quite the saver when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah,
believe it or not. And I alwaed had a job from about 16 on.
Sure.
And I mean, I saved. I had nothing to spend money on.
Yeah, you were in
Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Podunkville. Okay.
I go to the Sonic. I mean, what was I going to go do?
Right.
Which I did do.
Of course. But that's not going to drain your entire...
Beside the point. So I had a good stash that could have gone toward college.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen.
No.
Nothing. No college for you.
No.
Well, I mean, you did go to college.
I did, but I'm still paying for college.
Yeah, exactly.
Still paying for college.
Yeah, something tells me, though, the courts aren't going to be too sympathetic to this.
No.
To the argument that I didn't have free will because I was being coerced by the threat of hell.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, it's a pretty effective narrative.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you'd be opening up some serious floodgates. Like, you could ask for your money back from any donation at that point.
Right. I was being coerced by Sally Struthers and my guilt into giving to the Africans. Yeah. I want those Africans to give me back my damn money.
Yeah, you go to some, arts benefit or whatever.
Right, exactly.
They coerce you into it.
Yeah. I didn't care how many dogs were killed on the streets until Sarah McLachlan made me listen to her damn music.
Oh, do you know what I hate? Is that both of the major national pet supply stores have this really manipulative little, would you like to help out a homeless pet? When you swipe your debit card, right? And they're just asking for $1. Right. But I have to sit there and go, no, I don't. Every single time.
I know, it's terrible.
Because, maybe I should, but then I'm just like, no, I don't want to give to this.
I care more about humans, so all of my donation budget goes to people.
I'm there going,
sorry.
I'm spending my last $5 on this rawhide.
Right.
Seriously, I'm taking care of my own dog.
Right. I got people. I got my own business to look after. I mean, I don't want homeless pets. That's sad.
No, it's sad.
But I really don't give a shit. Do you want to play? Is there a voicemail? Do you want to play something?
I do have a voicemail. This is in response to our story last week about we did an update on the whole bakery in Colorado thing. These bakeries. The basis is the businesses refusing services based on X, Y, or Z.
Right.
And here is a caller who has a response.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank and Dan. This is Ian. I just am listening to your latest podcast, and I heard you guys talking about the bakery debacle. Just wanted to say that, from my perspective, the distinction is pretty clear. The one bakery did not want to sell the lesbians a cake that they would sell to anyone else, whereas the other bakery did not want to sell a cake written with obscenities written on it to anyone at all. Just thought I would put in my 2 cents. Have a great day. Thanks for the podcast. Bye.
All right.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks for that, Ian. It's a valid argument.
Yeah.
When you first presented
that argument.
the problem, it took me a minute to sort of wrap my head around where the issue really was.
And that's the thing. Like, superficially,
cake is cake.
It seems like the exact same thing.
Right.
And that's what this Christian, nut job
douchebag
is relying upon.
Right.
And perhaps also doesn't see the distinction himself.
Yeah. I would say that a lot of, especially sort of Fox News watching right-wing Christians are really good at not seeing distinctions. They're like professionals at making false equivalencies.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and it's clearly not the same thing. You would need the baker to say, no, I'm not serving you because you're Christian.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I normally make Bible cakes that say God hates fags on them, but you're a Christian and I'm not going to sell you one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you'd have to come to.
Which, by the way, that bakery I want to go to. The bakery that generally just makes that cake all the time. Hateful Bible cakes, but will not sell them to Christians because
not
gross.
Believers.
I don't like Christians.
These cakes are ironic, and you're taking them seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? That's a thing. Ironic
it's
hate
a hipster cake.
Hipster cakes are kind of that's actually really funny to me. I would be tempted. I would be tempted to buy that cake. And like have literally, and as you know, like probably 70% of my friends are gay. So I just have all of my gay friends over with like hate cake.
Yeah,
hate cake for everybody.
You should go into like grocery store, right? Just the neighborhood grocery store, and order a cake. And when they're like, "No way," be like, "No. It's ironic."
Oh, I don't
believe this. We're making fun of them.
Because half of them would
see
probably
if the argument works.
No, because they'd be Christian anyway. They'd be like, "Oh no, I agree with the sentiment. I just can't make the cake."
The corporate policy. Kroger won't let us.
Yeah, that's the thing. Says the other Dan. Hey, that's how he signs this.
The other Dan.
Apparently, there are only two of us out there.
I was about to say.
Other Dan. You're other Dan. Not the other Dan. Anyway, we talked about, you remember, Frank, we talked last week about Church of England finally ordaining a woman to bishophood.
Yeah.
Dan says, the C of E have nothing on the Church of Sweden. First female bishop was Christina Odenberg in 1997.
Wow.
The current archbishop of the C of S is Antje. I'm not going to say the name.
Don't.
Yeah. A German-born woman serving as the serving bishop of Stockholm, Eva Bruna, is even an open lesbian who was until recently married to another woman.
My God.
Well, Dan, obviously in some pinko communist country where people don't even believe in religion anyway, everything goes there.
Yeah.
That's no big deal.
Thanks for flaunting your Scandinavianness at us.
Yeah, exactly. We're so good. We're way ahead of everybody else. We get it. Sweden and other Nordic countries that are doing so great that we all kind of secretly want to live in. Just get rid of all of that, cold and being...
Oh, come on.
What? It's cold.
It is cold. You're right.
There's no light there now.
There's no light. It's cold. We get it.
I don't want to live there.
But they've made it amazing.
Yeah.
They've created a draw.
Yeah.
They've created something.
I do and do not want to go to there. I mean, I've been to there.
Right.
I've been to Sweden. I love Sweden.
Live there.
I don't want to live there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would live there for several months, just not these months.
Yeah.
We had some supporters, and I just want to. I'm going to go through the non-Joyride supporters, and then you go through the Joyride supporters.
I will. Yeah.
We now have Jenny is a monthly subscriber. Very generous. Thank you, Jenny. We have Michael, who says, keep up the awesome work. He did a one-time donation. And he also encourages everyone else to pay your tithing, people. Yeah, so that's nice. Christina A one-time donation, another one-time donation from Mark, who says, "Hi, Frank and Dan from Birmingham, in the heart of the majestic United Kingdom."
Oh.
Yes, the heart of it.
Wow.
Of course, it's Birmingham, I believe it was reported on Fox News, is 100% Muslim. I don't know if you know that.
Is it?
100%. You can't even go in there.
Anyway. What?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, Fox News had some... It's the only time I've ever heard of them actually retracting and apologizing. Because he's talked about all of these places in France and the UK where like it was a no-go. Police didn't even go in there because they were 100% Muslim. It was hilarious. And they actually retracted it. They actually apologized.
Wow. Can't they just call up their friends at Sky News before opening their big mouths?
Why they don't?
They're owned by the same people. Surely there's just a... Come on, tell us about Birmingham.
They don't check anything before they open their big mouths. Why would they start now? Anyway, he says, "Thanks for the consistently good show. You guys, you give our local BBC talk radio guys a run for their money.
Wow.
Here's a donation towards the TGIF. TGIF.
Thank God it's Friday.
Well, we'll call it the TGIA because that's what I think he means. World Tour Fund.
What?
I highly recommend flying to Birmingham Airport. I'd be happy to give you a tour around our lovely creative city.
Wow.
You are then officially invited to come for high tea and crumpets. Genuinely. Your work is appreciated. Keep doing the good stuff.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
So there you go. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Joyride people?
Yeah, we have some new supporters on Joyride. We're up to 17 supporters total.
Joyriders.
Joyriders. And we're about halfway to our first goal, which is $350 a month.
That's great.
On Joyride.
That's amazing.
So there's these are the names of the people who are new this week.
Okay.
Michael, Eric, Mark, Jeremy. I have another Mark. I hope I'm not.
It's okay.
Another Mark. Gerard is how I'm going to say your name because it sounds fancy. And apologies in advance because I'm going to butcher this one. Yu Lan Shu.
Cool.
So,
if you guys want to be a part of that, what's cool is you can go to if you go to our Joyride page, and you do so by going to our page, thankgodimatheist.com.
Yep.
And then clicking on the Joyride link off on the right-hand side. If you go to our Joyride page, you can actually keep track of how many people are supporting us on each level. You can watch as our goals are met.
It's riveting to watch.
There's
just so much going on.
Here's the thing, guys. We are currently losing to the podcast, the UFO podcast.
Oh yeah. We need to beat the
they're beating
podcast
us.
UFO.
I mean, his goal is 500 a month,
right?
And he is he's getting very close. We've got to we can't let the UFO podcast beat us, people.
Even though he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, sure.
Because I've exchanged emails with him.
But I mean, skepticism. We represent skepticism. He represents
something else entirely.
Well, whatever he represents. So help us by joining
some competition, some healthy competition. Dan, is that what you're proposing?
That's what I'm proposing. We can't let him win.
Okay.
All right. Well, Franklin. I don't know if people are aware of this, but Utah plays host to the most important film festival in the world.
It's pretty important.
Wait,
they moved it?
Yeah, it's here in Utah now. No, the Sundance Film Festival.
Sundance.
It is a time when Hollywood's luminaries descend on our fair state.
Hollywood shows up.
Hollywood just comes here.
Yeah.
So good time every year to go and try and rob their houses. Back in
I didn't see that one coming.
Malibu
as your suggestion.
See, boom. Don't say I didn't.
No, it's a great time to visit the state.
Yeah,
because there's tons of shit going on.
There's a lot of fun stuff happening, and you might bump into a very carefully orchestrated star out on the street for his 20 minutes of photo op
of just avoiding the attention.
Right.
All the paparazzi.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
hi,
gosh, they
guys.
found me.
Oh, darn.
In Sundance, the place I desperately don't want to be seen.
Right, exactly. It's kind of amazing, actually. If you stay long enough, you can witness some of the most amazingly badly orchestrated, like, photo op moments, candid moments out on the street where, like, I've literally seen a person who was very clearly a publicist who was trying to act like a fan walking in front of, in this case, it was T.I., the music artist T.I., going, "Oh, you guys, T.I.'s coming. T.I.'s walking down the street. You guys, T.I. Oh, my God, T.I. Oh, my God, it's T.I. coming." I think literally because probably people were mistaking him for other people or whatever. You know, it's one of those things. Musicians aren't quite as, like, visibly recognizable sometimes as actors or whatever. I don't know. It was just very funny. And then comes this giant mob of people surrounding this guy who's, "Oh, I'm just trying to get to my lunch appointment," or whatever. Right. I think that's how T.I. sounds, right?
That sounds about right.
"I'm just trying to go to places."
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. That's really good. That's
I think I captured it.
Yeah,
I think I got it.
Very, 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 very sharp.
You're welcome. Anyway, you and I, we saw a film together. Did you see any other films during this year's festival?
No, I didn't. I really only got out to the one.
Okay.
And it was my last chance.
Yeah.
As well. It was the last film screened.
The last film screened at the festival. You guys are all going to get a chance to see it if you've got the HBO, because it's going to be on HBO at some point.
Right.
But it premiered here at the Sundance Film Festival. And the film is called Going Clear.
Yeah. And it's about Scientology.
The Scientologists.
It does a nice little history of where it all came from. And that Mr. L. Ron Hubbard,
or LRH, which as the film progresses, you find that within the church, his name has been truncated to LRH, which I assume is LRH, but they're not really pronouncing it.
No.
Anyway, so we get to learn all about him and see some fun footage of him, some fun video footage of him, which you don't get to see a lot of because I think
there's not a lot of it.
There's not a lot of it, and they've probably controlled as much of it as they can.
Yeah. So they raided some archives.
Yeah.
And found some rare footage.
Oh my God.
And the guy was a nut.
He was a kook, is what he was. A prolific writer.
Over 1,000 books, they said.
Yeah. Holds the Guinness World Record for most books published.
Yeah.
So most of those were trashy sci-fi novels.
Right.
Pulp fiction.
Yes.
As it were.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and what's interesting is that the film sort of pointed out that, like, in these novels are contained the seeds, the germs, that eventually grew into Scientology, the beliefs and practices of Scientology. Yeah. So it's a very interesting film, really well done, I thought.
The production value was fantastic.
Yeah, you and I reported that this was going to happen, and the fact that HBO had to lawyer up something fierce to even embark on this. Yeah. And one of the and they sort of go into a little bit of why, because you do not want to fuck with the Scientologists.
No, because they're nasty.
They
played hardball with the IRS and won
and beat them.
They owed $1.5 billion, and they won.
They beat them
through lawsuits. Through thousands upon thousands of lawsuits,
which then they said could all just look. We know you don't want these lawsuits. They could all just go away.
Right.
All you got to do, you know what you got to do. You don't like the lawsuits? Fine. Yeah. You know what you need to do.
Yeah. So, but beyond just the fact that, we went to Sundance and we saw a cool film.
Right.
Why are we bringing this up?
Well, I mean,
what's the point?
I don't know if you know this, Frank, but that's a religion. And one of the subjects of our
ostensibly
a religion. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know that it yet really qualifies in my mind. I get it. I understand. They have a belief structure. La. It just seems like a nasty cult that somehow got religious status.
What's the difference between a cult and a religion to you?
The abuse.
Okay. There is abuse.
The abuse and the control and the brainwashing, and let's see what else. Like those kind of things happen at a certain level in some religions, right? There's a little bit of brainwashing that just happens naturally when you grow up in whatever faith.
In any
and some
religion.
are worse than others. You know, Mormons have a bit of it, I would say.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're not up to this kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, they're not locking people away for they didn't abuse their executives from Sea Org for what was it, a week or two. No, they had them locked up for like a year and a half, or 2 years, or some nonsense. And we're talking about abuse. They called it the hole
in a double wide that
didn't have
bars on the windows and doors.
And one of them was forced to like mop the bathroom with his tongue.
Yeah,
you know, like, and they did it, and they had opportunity to leave and never come back, and they left and came back.
I tell you what, it speaks very strongly to this film, and the stories that you hear in it frequently speak very strongly to the idea of mentally getting stuck in something. And it talks there's actually a real lucidity to the notion that in how it's presented about how hard it can be to get your brain out of it.
Yeah.
This happens to people all over in every religion. There are people who are just inured into this mindset.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to get out.
Yeah. And I experienced that with Mormonism.
I did too.
You,
yeah. It's an amazingly difficult thing. And it's one of those things where from the outside, I watch people who are leaving Mormonism, say, for example, and I just go, just get out.
Yeah.
Just let go.
Yeah.
It's great on the other side.
Yeah.
But they can't.
No.
There's a process to it.
Yeah.
There is a long and sometimes very painful process.
Well, if your family is a member of that organization, that's a level of control that the organization has to keep you involved.
And the Scientologists,
they have that down.
If you leave, then your family becomes expected to disconnect from you.
Yeah.
Much the same way that the J-dubs do.
Through shunning.
Yeah.
I mean, it is shunning. That's all they're doing. But no, they have a new word for everything at Scientology.
Yes, they do.
And so they disconnect.
They disconnect from you, and you are declared an SP, a suppressive person. They got a lot of acronyms there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of.
When they get up at the pulpit and start rattling shit off,
and you're just like,
it's like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They get into the whole celebrity thing. There's a lot of very interesting Scientologist celebrities. You and I were playing a game earlier. Should we play a little bit of
the game on the show?
Which was that I was just sort of telling Frank who all of the or who a bunch of the celebrities who
it was
are
a very fun game. Well, it's fun when you're just telling me stuff, Dan. I like to call it a game.
Well, the game was that I would tell you the ones that I knew would make you sad to find out that they were.
Oh,
like when I told you about Nancy Cartwright, the voice actor of Bart Simpson.
Oh, don't.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knew Kirstie Alley, and everybody knows Tom Cruise, and everybody knows
John Travolta.
Yeah. But did you know Giovanni Ribisi?
Well, I didn't before a little while ago, but I thought you did have a game for me.
Yeah,
I want to play a game.
Okay.
I make you play games.
Okay, Dan. I'll give you two people, and you'd tell me which one's the Scientologist.
Oh dear God, this is gonna be good.
Okay, I'm gonna say
this hinges on me knowing who they are. That's
Adam Levine from Maroon 5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or Beck.
Shut up.
Which one
of
is
those two is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Adam Levine.
Beck.
Really?
Yes. He's actually married to Giovanni Ribisi's sister.
Oh,
and they're both
interesting.
Scientologists.
Okay. More.
Let's see. Which of the following? Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis.
Actress Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis. What is she in?
What are her famous ones? Natural Born Killers. Wasn't she in that?
Okay.
Juliette Lewis.
Okay. All right.
I had one for this. Jason Lee, actor.
No, I know who Jason Lee
from
is.
My Name Is
It's
Earl.
always going to be my favorites, isn't it?
Okay, so which one?
Is it Jason Lee?
It's both of them.
Oh, you tricked me.
I tricked you,
Dan. You're an a-hole. Oh no, not Jason Lee.
Yeah.
Jason Lee.
Yes. Cute little Jason Lee
with his cute mustache.
With his mustache and everything.
Oh no.
I could tell you some former.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Former Scientologists.
Your quiz wasn't very good, by the way, Dan.
Your quiz wasn't very good, Frank. William H. Burroughs used to be a Scientologist.
No
apparently.
way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Author and poet William S. Burroughs.
That's okay. All right, cool.
Also, novelist Neil Gaiman. You don't know Neil Gaiman?
What did he write?
He's the one that I always get confused with another writer because they look the same to me. Where are his novels? He wrote Good Omens. Stardust was a fantasy novel.
All right. So
yeah,
he was, but he got out. All right, cool.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm not.
I'm good. Congratulations, Mr. Whatever your name was.
Yeah. This is a good one. You ready for this one?
Sure.
Charles Manson.
Shut up.
For a time was a Scientologist.
From prison?
Yes, he studied it in prison. He even
how did they audit him and stuff? Boy, they really collected some secrets on him.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us something you did that you never told.
Yeah, he had plenty to audit. Let's just go through that. Auditing, by the way, people, is apparently this is one of the main practices of Scientology. And if you want to, you can go to any Scientology
little studio thing
outlet.
Yeah. Storefront.
And they'll do this for you.
Yeah.
They'll do you one for free.
Yeah.
Which is you hold on to these things. They give you they have what's called an e-meter.
Oh yeah.
That is basically like 1/3 of a lie detector test.
Yeah.
It just measures sort of the electricity in your body. And they claim that it like can test the stress in like what's happening when you're having memories and whatever. And so they have you recount a sad or hard memory from your childhood, and they have you go through it a whole bunch of times, just retelling the story over and over and over until it no longer has power over you. Which, does that really differentiate itself much from Freudian psychotherapy? Probably not much.
Yeah.
Psychologists and psychiatrists, therapists in general, tend not to use those techniques anymore, but that's okay. They didn't have the e-meters. They clearly weren't equipped to do it.
No, yeah, indeed. So it's just desensitizing you to that memory.
I guess.
Is what you're doing.
I'm
by
guessing
repeating it and talking about it, and then so you don't have a physical reaction anymore.
Yeah.
That the e-meter can pick up on.
I'm guessing.
But what do they say that the e-meter even does? Like, what is it really doing?
It's talking to the thetans.
Ah, yes, indeed.
Anyway, one of the ones that I wanted to talk about is Paul Haggis, Oscar-winning film director and prolific film and television writer.
Yes,
who was featured
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Well, yes, one of his many things was
he wrote 100
plus episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger. But also the movie Crash, which is where he got most of his renown.
Sort of cachet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was featured heavily in the film.
Very much so.
And was
a lot to say, and he was very well spoken.
Was very open about how embarrassed he was, his association with Scientology, which lasted for 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
He was with them for a very, very long time, and gave them a gob of money over his
I'm sure it just
time.
had to be a ton of money.
So they He figured very heavily into the film, and it was fascinating to hear him talk because he wasn't aware of the bullshit. Now, this speaks to kind of one of the reasons why people stay in. He was told not to go to the internet and read the negative stuff, the quote unquote lies that were out there about it. Right. So he never did.
Right.
For 20-something years. He's given them his money.
When he was doing it, for a lot of it, there was no internet.
Right, exactly.
Just to easily look this stuff up.
Right.
But yeah, so the point that you're at is that you go through kind of this self-helpy stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Where you're initially, it's kind of a psychotherapy typey thingy. So right. You're getting out these sort of demons that haunt you, and
they don't even use the word thetans really much at that point.
At that point
in the early stages,
all the quacky origin stories and creation myths and all that. No, there's none of that.
It's just about helping you.
You have paid them hundreds of thousands of dollars before you get to find out about the Thetans and Xenu.
They have a very interesting chart that. Their organization, you basically, as you improve as a person,
right?
You climb up to the different levels,
right,
of Scientology until you're suddenly like at the peakity top of Scientology, and you've paid them $1 gazillion, and then you're clear.
Right. Well, no, clear happened before then, didn't it? I thought clear was on your way up, and then you were ready for the higher levels.
No. You're not clear until you're all the way at the top, and they give you your certificate. And then you learn how to fly. No, they actually did talk about there being these rumors of people gaining sort of supernatural power once they've reached the upper echelons.
Clearly.
Frank does not trust that I was correct about when you go clear, so he is currently looking it up, which is fine. So I guess where I came down, it was interesting because afterwards we had a very fascinating discussion about how closely some of the things that we saw on this film relate to Mormonism, and therefore how closely they relate to most religions. And it is a fascinating thing to discuss where that crossover is, and what becomes universal religious universal features of a religion. And I was fascinated by the notion that by how smart they are and how they control their members.
Yeah.
How it becomes we're helping you. We keep telling you that we're helping you, but then later we tell you, holy crap, you don't understand how much you need our help.
Right.
You are so shitty that you have way further to go.
Right.
Way further to go.
Right.
You are bullshit.
Right.
And if you don't feel like the things that you're doing are helping, it just supports how much more of it that you need. It just goes to show how much more you need us. It's not a sign that our therapy is failing you, that what we're offering you is somehow failing you. It's a sign that you need us even more.
Right.
It's the same thing with the Mormons. It's the same thing with the Catholics. It's the same thing with everybody. Oh, you're still masturbating? I guess you need us even more now. Look at how much sinning you're doing. You better pay us more money.
Yeah.
You need us. You're desperate for us. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the takeaway of all of this, right? This is like the most extreme example. Because they're crazy. And when this comes out on HBO, you guys, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's the same.
Right.
It's all the same. Frank really wants to tell us about going clear.
Well, clear does happen early on. It happens before the OT levels.
Clear happens before the OT levels?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you continue to have the occasional clearing course.
Okay.
And it looks like, you're declared clear as part of your OT eligibility.
Oh, okay. And
then that's when you get up to these points where it was like OT3 or OT4 or something like that, where they actually let you know about the creation myth.
Right. Where they give you the photocopies of all of the creation myth that you must keep in a locked briefcase.
Well, yeah.
Ooh. No one must ever find out. It's not like it's all on the internet now.
Yeah.
But
same with the temple.
The thing is that people don't know until they've been in it for years and years and
years. Well, they're
not
supposed to.
Yeah. So then that's when you get there was a galactic overlord who sent like prisoner people to Earth to be thrown into a volcano and then blown up with hydrogen bombs. Yeah, you don't find that out until later. And then they inhabit us. That's the other thing is that these it's like the bad guys in Superman 2, Zod and all, they were in
mirror thing.
They were in that mirror thing. Only now, instead of imprisonment in the mirror, they're in you.
No.
Yes.
God, I don't want them. They're nasty.
Yes, they're bad. So the only way to get them out is to e-meter yourself.
What is in you?
That's what's in you.
That's the Xenus?
The Thetans.
The Thetans?
Yeah. You got you a bad case of Xenus.
You're just covered in Thetan.
I've got I need to shower. I feel like there's Thetans everywhere. And every time they say that, it just sounds like they're saying Satan with a lisp.
Thetan.
Look at Thetan. He's so sweet, Thetan.
Oh, no.
My sweet Thetan.
Were there any other takeaways?
There was a lot. There was a lot to talk about, and I'm sure we could talk ad nauseum about it. But I mean, it's just a fascinating thing. We could talk a little bit if we really wanted to about Tom Cruise, and David Miscavige, who's their current president, and who kind of became
a little bit of a control freak,
like in the sense of like physically beating the executives in the corporation, he's a nutball.
Yeah,
he's crazy, and there are these moments in the video of like him and Tom Cruise like shaking each other's hands. He gave Tom Cruise some medal. Like
they made up some medal.
They made up a medal that was like the saving of the universe medal or whatever. And we're very proud to. And then Tom Cruise and David Miscavige do the manliest handshake you've ever seen. Like, we are gonna handshake so fucking hard right now. Yes.
Well, they're two little guys.
Yeah. Oh, he's shorter than Cruise. These two guys are tiny.
So they got a little bit of the little man complex.
Yeah.
Going on.
I mean, this is two leprechauns trying to show how tough they are. Always after me, Scientological charms.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did it like 4 times of just like.
Well, they walk around in like matching sunglasses and matching leather jackets, and it's all very strange and weird. I mean, clearly Miscavige has like a big boy crush on Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
And
if
nothing versa,
if nothing else, Cruise is making him a fortune.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a meal ticket right there.
Yep.
Oh, it's all just a bunch of crazy. It's all just a bunch. It's just a bunch of crazy. Go watch that when it comes out and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you need to write to us and tell us how we're just a bunch of crazy, you can do so. You can write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and like it. And then type in TGIA Members Only Lounge and beg me to let you in.
Oh, yes, indeed. And also, please check out thankgodimatheist.com. That's where you can find the support tab or the support us on Joyride tab.
Right. Better yet.
Click on that.
Click the Joyride thing. Go there. Watch the video. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. So yeah,
we've
got all sorts of rewards and fancy stuff for you.
Hey, you know what I haven't mentioned to people for a minute?
Oh, what's that, Dan?
Why don't you go on to your listening platform of choice, your iTunes or whatnot, and give us a rating?
Yeah.
Go give us 5 stars somewhere. It would be nice. That also helps us. That gets the word out.
It helps a lot. We haven't seen a jump in those in a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And so
we're stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stagnant.
But if you want that immortality or, a godless ringtone, you can go over the Joyride. You didn't really finish our pitch there.
Oh, okay.
So,
I thought you were done. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, and help us hit that $350 a month campaign goal. Once we hit that, we're going to spruce up our studio just a little bit. And,
it only helps you. Well, it helps us a lot, but it also helps you.
Yeah,
as a listener. Yeah. To help out. We'd like to thank Mackenzie for her diligent work on our Facebook page. Thank you so much, Mackenzie.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music.
It's fine music, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye-bye.